He was more than just Hollywood's Rifleman. Chuck Connors lived a life as thrilling as any Western he starred in, filled with untold secrets, Cold War diplomacy, scandalous affairs, and a dramatic career shift that changed everything. But what really happened behind the scenes? And what dark truth did he take to his grave? Stick around, because the revelations are just getting started. Born Kevin Joseph Aloysius Connors on April 10, 1921, in Brooklyn, New York, Chuck's early life was anything but glamorous. His parents, Irish immigrants Alan and Marcella Connors, struggled to make ends meet during the Great Depression. His father toiled as a longshoreman, while his mother took on odd jobs to help put food on the table. But hardship didn't break Chuck, it built him. The streets of Brooklyn became his first training ground, and the local Bay Ridge Boys Club was where he honed his love for sports. At just 14, his talent caught the eye of scouts, earning him a scholarship to Adelphi Academy, a private high school in Brooklyn. This was Chuck's first big break, but little did he know, much bigger things were coming. From high school to Seton Hall University, Chuck was a multi-sport star. Basketball, baseball, football, he could do it all. In 1942, he delivered a performance that left scouts buzzing, 2 home runs and 6 RBIs in a single game. It was enough to put him on the radar of professional teams. But then, just as his athletic career was taking off, World War II came calling. Enlisting in the U.S. Army, Chuck became a tank warfare instructor at Fort Knox and later trained soldiers at West Point. Even in the military, sports never left his side. In his free time, he played semi-professional baseball and even professional basketball in the American Basketball League. His drive was unstoppable. By 1946, after 3 years of service, he was honorably discharged and wasted no time jumping back into professional sports. First stop, the Boston Celtics. Standing at 6'5", Chuck played as a forward and center during the Celtics' first-ever season. Though he wasn't a top scorer, he made his mark with a solid defensive presence. But in 1947, he walked away from basketball to chase another dream: baseball. On May 1, 1949, he finally got his shot with the Brooklyn Dodgers. But fate had other plans. In his one and only game for the team, Chuck hit into a double play. And just like that, his Dodgers career was over. Instead of quitting, he hit the minor leagues hard, grinding his way back up. By 1951, he earned a spot with the Chicago Cubs, hitting his first major league home run against the New York Giants. But baseball wasn't the destiny waiting for him. Hollywood was. Here's where the story takes a shocking turn. In 1952, while playing for the minor league team Los Angeles Angels, Chuck smashed a home run that landed him an acting gig. Literally. Watching from the stands was MGM casting director Billy Gordon, who saw more than an athlete. He saw a movie star. Walking into the locker room after the game, Gordon handed Chuck his card and said, "You should think about acting." At first, Chuck laughed it off, but fate intervened again. Weeks later, an injury forced him to the sidelines, giving him time to reconsider Gordon's offer. Curiosity got the best of him, and he visited MGM. 3 days later, he signed his first Hollywood contract. Just like that, Chuck Connors, the ballplayer, became Chuck Connors, the actor. His first role was small but significant: a police captain in the 1952 romantic comedy Pat and Mike, starring Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. On his first day on set, nerves ran high, but after just 2 takes, Spencer Tracy pulled him aside and said, "You've got something. Stick with it." Those words lit a fire in Chuck, and he never looked back. Between 1952 and 1958, he took on over 20 film roles, including Old Yeller, where his rugged performance as Bern Sanderson won audiences over. Hollywood had a new leading man. Then came the role that would make him a household name: Lucas McCain in The Rifleman. But here's the kicker: Chuck almost turned it down. The initial offer was lower than what he was making doing other acting gigs. The producers, however, saw something in him and upped the stakes, offering him 5% ownership of the show. That sealed the deal. Chuck went all in, training rigorously to perfect McCain's signature rifle spinning technique. Working with gun expert Rod Redwing, he practiced until his hands blistered. The dedication paid off. When The Rifleman premiered on September 30th, 1958, it was an instant hit. Over 14 million viewers tuned in for the first episode, captivated by Chuck's performance. The show's mix of action and heartfelt father-son moments struck a chord with audiences. Single fathers even wrote letters to Connors, thanking him for portraying the struggles of raising a child alone. Decades may have passed, but Chuck Connors' legacy remains etched in Hollywood history. Even as reruns of The Rifleman continue to captivate audiences, the untold story of Connors' struggles behind the scenes reveals a man trapped by his own success. Imagine being adored for a role so much that it becomes your prison. This was Connors' reality after The Rifleman ended in 1963. Hollywood refused to see him as anything but Lucas McCain, the tough but fair cowboy. Offers poured in, but they were all for more westerns. Determined to prove his versatility, Connors made a bold move. He turned down 8 Western TV pilots in just 2 years. But did that decision backfire? Instead of opening doors, his career stalled. Desperate to break free, he took an unexpected turn in Move Over, Darling, 1964, starring alongside Doris Day and James Garner. It was a drastic departure from his cowboy persona, but Hollywood wasn't buying it. Even when he delivered a compelling performance as a defense attorney in Arrest and Trial, 1963 to 1964, the show was canceled after just 1 season. Frustration mounted. By 1965, Connors considered walking away from acting entirely, contemplating a return to professional sports. But just as he was about to hang up his boots, an opportunity arose that would redefine his career. His return to television in Branded, 1965 to 1966, was unlike anything he'd done before. Playing Jason McCord, a falsely accused cavalry officer trying to clear his name, Connors finally found a role that showcased his emotional depth. The series ran for 2 seasons, and while it never reached Rifleman fame, it allowed him to step out of McCain's shadow. But it wasn't until 1977 that Connors delivered his most chilling performance yet, one that stunned audiences and critics alike. His portrayal of a cruel plantation owner in Roots was so powerful, so terrifyingly real, that it earned him an Emmy nomination. The world finally saw what Connors was capable of, but it came at a cost. Some fans struggled to separate him from the villain he played. As his career wound down, Connors ventured into horror and sci-fi, embracing bizarre and unconventional roles. From the eerie tourist trap, 1979, to the low-budget alien battle in The Daytime Ended, 1980, he took on characters that defied his cowboy past. By the late 80s, he had become a fixture in guest TV spots, playing everything from sinister villains to charismatic mentors. But behind the camera, his personal life was as turbulent as any Hollywood script. 3 marriages, each ending in heartbreak, painted a picture of a man forever chasing something: love, stability, or perhaps just an escape from himself. His first marriage to Elizabeth Jane Riddell seemed like a fairy tale until fame came knocking. The cracks appeared quickly, with Connors' demanding schedule and rumored affairs driving them apart. By 1962, the marriage was over, and scandal followed him into his next relationship. His second wife, Kamala Devi, shared the screen with him in several projects, but their marriage couldn't survive the tension between artistic ambition and personal struggles. And then there was his third and most controversial marriage, to Faith Quabius, a woman 33 years his junior. What seemed like an unlikely romance quickly spiraled into accusations of abuse, fueled by Connors' notorious drinking problem. By 1980, the relationship had imploded, leaving behind a trail of whispers and speculation. But if there was one thing Connors refused to do, it was apologize for who he was. In Hollywood, where political views could make or break a career, he stood firm. While many of his peers protested the Vietnam War, Connors publicly supported it. He didn't just voice his opinions. He marched, campaigned, and even visited Vietnam multiple times to meet the troops. It wasn't a popular stance, and it certainly cost him roles, but Connors never wavered. His defiance set him apart. even earning him an invitation to the Soviet Union at the height of the Cold War. In a surreal twist, the Rifleman became a massive hit in the USSR, with millions tuning in to watch Lucas McCain every week. Even Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev was a fan, inviting Connors to Moscow for an unprecedented meeting that blurred the lines between Hollywood and geopolitics. As the years went by, Connors continued to make sporadic appearances, but his health was failing. A lifetime of smoking, 3 packs a day, had taken its toll. In 1992, the devastating diagnosis came: lung cancer. At first, he kept it private, still attending events, still shaking hands with fans who saw him as an untouchable legend. But the disease was relentless. By October of that year, he was hospitalized with pneumonia, and just weeks later, on November 10, 1992, Chuck Connors took his final bow. In the end, Chuck Connors was more than just the Rifleman. He was a man of contradictions, a beloved hero, a controversial figure, a Hollywood outsider who never quite fit in. But